So today we are doing a session on key learnings from ServiceNow Knowledge 2023, which happened between May 16th to 18th. We from Royal Cyber were also present there. So I'm just doing a quick recap of what happened at the session. What are our key takeaways from ServiceNow conference? So myself, I'm Gayatri. I'm an architect at Royal Cyber, and I'm really excited to present what my takeaways were from the conference and also the major announcements that happened over there. So that's our agenda. And okay, so Royal Cyber. So Royal Cyber, we do have like 20 plus years of experience. We are major consulting as well as solution owned company. We have a global presence, like you can see, and uh, I've been with Royal Cyber for more than 5 years now. And then these are like some of the solutions that are done in-house. There are a couple that are for ServiceNow as well. One is Integration Wizard, and then there's also GoTest Pro, which is our testing automation in-house tool, which also works with other applications along with ServiceNow. Okay, so coming to the overview, this is like a quick snapshot of what happened at Knowledge Conference. These are some of the keynote speakers. We did have others, but we did get to hear from the CEO of ServiceNow, Bill McDermott. He did a lot of major announcements and also spoke about the future vision of ServiceNow. And then we also get to hear from CJ Desai, who's the president. He did a lot of live demos. He introduced and spoke about the partnership with Vidya, which is a generative AI and has a major presence in AI. And we also get to hear from our former New Zealand Prime Minister, who spoke more on leadership skills. There were about 50,000 plus attendees at the conference, and then more than 10,000 companies were over there as well. So these are the key announcements, which also spoke about the future vision of ServiceNow. The first one, which is also a buzzword around everywhere right now in technology, is generative AI. So ServiceNow has announced and introduced generative AI solutions for the Now platform. There are two major things that are happening or that have been introduced. One is generative AI controller, and the other one is Now Assist for search. And I'm going to talk more in the upcoming slides, but that was definitely one of the major announcements. The other one was a new AI powered solution called Employee Growth and Development Hub. This is more, if you're familiar with ServiceNow, there's an Employee Center Pro, which basically is like a portal where all the applications can be viewed and the request. It's our center portal. So they are introducing this Employee Growth and Development Hub into that. This mainly concentrates on talent transformation from an employee perspective, the skills and their development, and then also visibility from the manager. And that's more on Employee Growth Development Hub. They've also announced a new or added a new um, into their portfolio, which is called Finance and Supply Chain Workflows. This is more around APOs or account payable operable. This is their introduction into ERP. In no way to replace ERP, but more to help them in digitally transform. That's the idea behind finance supply chain workflows. The other announcement we had was on ServiceNow Cloud Observability, which is again, I think one of the first industries introduction onto this observability where they can basically tie up different applications, show the logs, metrics, traces, and I'll show you some snapshots on what this might look in future. But that was another major announcement that we get to know. The other one, the Rise Up with ServiceNow. It's been with ServiceNow. Hello, welcome. It's been with ServiceNow for a year now, but Rise Up with ServiceNow basically is a career path kind of a training bundle. Few of it's more when I say career path, like if you're trying to become an application developer or an implementer or technical project manager. So Rise Up basically gives you like a bundle of training sessions that you can work on through them. The last one is definitely a proud initiative from ServiceNow, which is servicenow.org. This is to help with non-profit companies and a specific talent has been or specific allocation has been done to help nonprofit organizations. Now, this is a quick snapshot how it's going to look for Employee Growth and Development Hub. They're basically introducing Career Hub and Manager Hub here, and it's going to sit on top of Employee Center Pro. And those they're not very clear, but those are the two snapshots that basically shows how, and as an employee, if I can work with my manager, share my skills, where are my technical gaps, and we can work together and have a projection. And that's basically in the conference as a whole, there's been focus how they have to grab the skills and the talents moving forward. And then that's basically a snapshot of those both. The other one that we introduced was financial supply chain and workflow. This is a snapshot of how, with along with AI, AI capabilities that are right now in ServiceNow and getting introduced, we can see how they can basically scan a invoice document and transform into a ServiceNow table. That's what the snapshot is. And again, a future vision, it's happening in the next version or two. This is how they want to work here. They want to work along with the legacy ERP systems, transform them, work with document intelligence is one of the feature of ServiceNow as well. And they're just trying to say that they can work along with that and use the supply chain workflow to work with the ERP systems. This was another major announcement, which was the cloud observability, where ServiceNow Cloud Observability will sit on top of and work with other cloud applications. They can retrieve the data, metrics, logs, and traces, and basically show up as a module in ServiceNow. When we talk about observability, I do want to highlight this is not monitoring. Monitoring is something that we do after the fact, and observability is you want to maintain or trace the system while it is there, see where you can improve. So that's where the logic of observability. Currently, there are a lot of observability tools out there, but they're all individual to their own application. The idea behind is you can collect and have one place for ServiceNow using this ServiceNow Cloud Observability. Okay, so next I want to jump into some key topics. Along with the announcements, these have been definitely around and most commonly spoken, not only in conference, but definitely where we see where we are going as a future. So starting with App Engine Studio, so hyper automation and low code. This is as a concept, it's been there around, but ServiceNow introducing a lot of automation tools and a lot of inbuilt tools that can be used to achieve this. So to start with, what is hyper automation? So in general, when we say automation, we are trying to convert by definition anything into manual into automation. But automation is something that's focused on process to process. When we say hyper automation, it is nothing but taking automation way further. And we are working and providing automation tools that can transform as a whole into an enterprise. It's not for specific application or a process. And then when we say low code, the idea is that we give non-technical users more automation tools and applications that can make them develop or design or create workflows or forms without using any coding or minimal coding at the best. One of the first one or with lot of features that was introduced for low code was App Engine Studio. And here I'm going to show some of the enhancements that happened in the upcoming or the current version, which is Utah. So I just want to introduce few of those enhancements. So this is how App Engine Studio looks. Currently, right now, they have introduced a new template called Service Request Management Template. These are all out of box. These are all stored apps that are available. So anyone with non-technical users with almost low code or minimal coding, they can develop an app. That's the idea behind it. And the other one, first, the other things that they introduced is restrict app creation. Again, the idea is you restrict, you have a access restriction capability. So you have templates, but you don't want everyone to be just going there and develop them. You still want to have some restriction where you can approve or see what they have done before you publish into production. So they have introduced some restriction out there. They have in what they call this as a template framework. They have increased a lot of support around that. They've increased a lot more features in that. One of the key one to present or mention is upload spreadsheet and external table. Again, the idea here is that when you're using templates, a lot of companies could already be working with Excel. They might already have a structure. So they can basically upload the whole spreadsheet and convert that structure into a table into ServiceNow. And then you can also add some fields on top of it. Then automation engine. So automation engine, again, as a concept, it's been a year or so that it's in ServiceNow, or maybe a couple of years, I believe, but they've been increasing and they've been including a lot of new features into here. So I wanted to just introduce again some more enhancements that coming up with Utah. This as a picture, you can see there are four concepts around automation engine: automation center, RPA hub, document intelligence, and integration hub. RPA hub has been only here from San Diego or so, which is like two versions uh, before now. And I just want to talk some more enhancements, what's coming up in Utah. Um, from talking from Automation Center, they already had what this is like a snapshot. Automation Center is nothing but a visual dashboard of all the automation requests that you can do within ServiceNow, as well as RPA Hub, which is a new concept. Or you can also connect to external RPAs. One of them now they have introduced this UI path, and you can show all the automation requests here, how many requests you have, the whole path, and the value behind it. So they've added what a new version they call value dashboard. It's already been there for two versions, but value dashboard is what is newly added. And then in RPA Hub enhancements, there've been a lot more other changes, but I wanted to note this RPA calendar, which basically shows when we say RPA, the robotic process automation, we have both unattended and attended robots in ServiceNow. So basically, or even if you are integrating with third-party RPA like UiPath, you can show or you have a track of calendar what is running when, and you have the whole schedule at one snapshot. And then I do want to also note that now RPA is available for personal developer instances. So for all the developers, you can install RPA Hub in your own personal developer instance and play with it. The other feature that I'm trying to show here is we have now what called universal recorder. So when there is like a manual process that you're trying to convert into automation, you can actually just start the recorder, do your actions, and the system automatically captures it and converts into an automation. So this is like an example where the system is trying to capture that you're clicking on it, and then just makes all the steps, and your automation is created right there and then. So integration hub. So as integration hub is nothing but an availability of spokes out of box. So you don't, all you have to do is a simple configuration and your integration is up and ready. So that's the concept behind integration hub. They have introduced a lot of spokes now along with UI paths to mention. And this is like a snapshot of usage dashboard that's now there, which shows how many transactions are going, the overall visibility with the spokes that you have, what's it's going on, and basically track your integrations as a picture. The other one, a new one that they have introduced it now, you can directly import the data from an Excel. So this is nothing but you're trying to say that my source type is Excel. You can upload the file and you can map and also transform and convert and dump the whole data into ServiceNow tables. So that's a quick snapshot of that. Hey, generative AI. So, which was our key announcement, and definitely want to talk more is the two concepts that they have introduced or coming now is generative AI controller and now assist search. So AI, there are a lot of AI capabilities in ServiceNow right now. But what's different about generative AI is it can actually understand your natural language. So which I'll show you an example of what they are doing it. So right now they are releasing it as of this month or so, but for very limited customers. And the idea is definitely to be able to have it in multiple use cases. It's going to be used. But right now, generative AI controller, you can connect to both OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. They have done this with a partnership with Microsoft. They already have partnerships, so this is going to be available as of now and probably in near future. One of the first one they are introducing is now assist search, which basically lets an agent or even an end user, when they are chatting with an agent, they can ask a question in a natural language and they'll get a response more how you're interacting with a human rather than like links and stuff. That's the idea behind generative AI. So, and what the third point is already trying to say is they want to extend this, make it available across all the workflows, which is technology, employee, industry, customer, basically connecting the enterprise as a whole. This one basically share. So I know the screenshot is probably not that clear. It's trying to search for how do I create a change request. And what you get back is not links, which you do see at the bottom, but you do get like a response how to do it. So you're not clicking some other article and trying to read and understand. It gives you step by step, okay, this is how you do it. And you have it like you would talk to a person, how they explain it to you. That's like a simple example of how now assist for search is there. This is available again, but limited, so we'd have limited to customers that, but I think it's going to be more open and published sooner. The other, this is another example or another scenario where it would be applicable right here. So when we are not only in ServiceNow, but when you're talking or you're talking to a virtual agent where is a chat bot, whenever you ask a question and you have a lot of conversation and then you're like, okay, this is not working out, transfer me to a live agent. From an agent perspective, he has to go through the whole conversation to understand what happened so far. So what here they're trying to do is they're trying to summarize. So that's what that screenshot is trying to show is you've spoken to virtual agent, you had whatever conversation. Now when the live agent comes in, he can see what happened and he has like a summarization of the whole conversation. So he doesn't have to read through all that. So that's one of the application of that. So that's what the screenshot is about. I think that wraps up our key topics, but I do want to show some roadmap here. Subscription management, if you're in ServiceNow, you know that the licensing itself in ServiceNow is very complicated. And they've been always complain like, how do I manage my license? How do I understand uh, how many I have, what license or how many I've been using out? So subscription management overview is what they're introducing in Vancouver. This is version after Utah. And it's going to be a complete visual view of, and they're giving by application like ITSM or HR on how many license you have, how many they're going to utilize it. The next one, the Employee Growth and Development Hub, which we spoke is a major announcement, is also going live in Vancouver. And then code generator, which I'll show you in a, is also something that's a part of generative AI capabilities that's being introduced. In a simple terms, it's nothing but again using the natural language, something a developer can be used. You enter a question in natural language, and a snippet of code will be generated. And then augmented workflows, applicability of generative AI. All these are getting introduced in Vancouver. The future vision is right now, ServiceNow has divided the generative AI into two strategies. One is connecting with the open source AIs and what they have strategically had partnership with Microsoft. The second concept or the second strategy, which they have partnership with NVIDIA and Hugging Face to do so, is have a domain-specific LLM, the large language model, with ServiceNow data. So the idea is that customer can build their own LLM. This is going to be purely on ServiceNow data. It's still a future version, but they've already started the work and with the partnership of with these two companies. As of now, it's this capability. So right now, what we saw is we are doing it for search. The future is going to be, it can be to answer, chat, create workflow. One of the example would be like if you have incidents that you're working as an agent, they do get passed on from department to department or groups to group. So when you're passing it from your group to other group, instead of again going through the whole incident, it's going to give you a summary of incident. It can also help you in root cause analysis. So those are like couple of examples. And then let's say you are working through it, it can help you to create a flow. Um, it can, so it sees a gap in a knowledge. It can do a create as an example of it can create a knowledge article on the gap, and where there is a lot of response, they're seeing like a lot of incidents happening. I can see there's a gap of knowledge article can be suggested and created. And a couple of others are created to workflows. Code generator is text to code. Our creative workflows can go further into text to app and text to flow, which I'll show with a couple of screenshots to make it more understand. And then spoke generator, how we spoke that there are spokes right now. The idea behind spoke generator is there you might not have a spoke for this third party integration, but if they have open API, you can create a spoke right there and right then by using spoke generator. That's the future that they are trying to go from an integration hub. Um, it's a quick snapshot of how code generator could work. So someone from a developer, this is like a scripting window of within ServiceNow. So you don't have to go to somewhere else in a generative AI and search for code, but within your own script editor, you can type in your own natural language. Okay, that's one of the example where I'm saying validate email using regex. And as soon as you type, you can see that the loading window, that's basically trying to search and get your code snippet back, and then you got the code, which is going to be a sample. So the idea is you, as a developer, and this is not to eliminate developers, but the repeated code that you still search and write anyways, you can do it from your script editor. And then this is like the future, one of the examples we were talking about, text to flow. So this is again a screenshot from ServiceNow where we develop workflows or flow designer, what we do the flows. That's what generative AI controller is, or generative AI as such. The concept is it can summarize, which we saw a couple of examples, how it can summarize from a virtual agent to live agent. And you can also do a Q&A where you're asking a question and you get an actual answer, but not the links. That's the concept as a whole, but that's what ServiceNow is introducing into the tool. And then you have the generic prompt. These are the multiple options that you get with the generative AI, and you can use any of those in your flow designer. That's basically what this is trying to say. And I think that pretty much wraps up our presentation. So let me know if you have any questions.
Basically, we have global services that centralized functions in HR, legal, like wherever we have this kind of global services function, we're using ServiceNow. A lot of it is for fulfillment. Like obviously, like commercial is also accepting requests for somebody who wants to purchase something, and then they take it to the process, saving users, the process is managed. We also have portal, like for example, for commercial services, they have their own portal with all the links, press, who wants all their such and such equipment, this is the person that they do. Same for finance, we even have labs using ServiceNow as well. So it's quite, yeah, going through reporting and business functions outside of IT. And some quite interested in this career capability because it seems like it's going a little bit in a workplace space, I guess.
Yes, that's the idea. So when you talk about employee and growth, obviously the whole idea is HR, but the idea is that when you say portal, it's not only used by HR and but used by employees and the manager hub and the career hub, which they talk about as two concepts. Is employees going to have their own view? They can go into the portal and just see what all the skills are, and you can integrate ServiceNow with Workday, and you don't have to have so this all data can sit in different systems, but integration is easier or made easier. So you can integrate, bring that here, and you have one vision, one place to look, okay, where my employees are going. And then from an employee perspective, you can talk to your manager, set up a meeting right there, and then I want to talk about my future. That's their vision. And like that's coming in the next version itself. But so, yes. And then when I heard you are more into ITSM, so this is also definitely the generative AI controller, you can always integrate. The main issue we have when we are using public generative AI is the security and stuff. So the idea is it does protect your data because you're working with your own data within ServiceNow. I do want to tell, or if you want to tell, that we do offer a jump start, what we call into automation. Pick any use case that you would be interested in, show a POC of that, and then so what ServiceNow makes easier is you could have a form, you could have a request, you can integrate the workday data, you can integrate the HR profile, so they have your own HR SD. You can integrate what HR profile, which is a separate from user profile, and it have its own access restrictions. So you still HR as a whole, it's a separate scope. So you don't have to worry from an access perspective. So you basically integrate it with Workday. You convert the data into ServiceNow tables. Once integrated, you can use it as you like, right? You can have request forms. So end users don't have to work between two. As an HR agent, they might have to work between two, but as an end user, I don't have to switch between. So I never have to go into Workday. So this client, they are huge. They still had to use Workday for whatever they need, the other applications, but they were converting all the request forms and everything in the front end of HR is ServiceNow. So from a user, they don't really have to go there. You get the address, you get the phone number, everything from a user perspective sits in ServiceNow. Everything from HR request perspective sits in ServiceNow. So the idea is you can maybe get everything into ServiceNow and make it happen and restrict your access. It all depends upon what your use case is. There's a good chance, but it's not going to happen overnight. You would have to convert your processes into ServiceNow, and maybe it can become a replacement of Workday, but it is going to be a transition. But I've seen a lot of customers do integrate, and integration is out there with Workday, so that's going to work flawlessly. And there are you can convert data into work ServiceNow tables, so it's not a duplicate data as such, but you're using that data to have the request forms. And also the idea is that employee don't have to switch between multiple applications, right? For them, they know, okay, if I need anything done, I have to go to this portal.